Did you know that by the age of 60, nearly 1 in 3 Americans will have lost enough muscle to be classified as having sarcopenia, a condition that dramatically increases the risk of falls, frailty, and losing independence? As a doctor who has spent years working with older adults, I've seen firsthand how this hidden muscle loss quietly robs people of their energy, balance, and confidence. But here's what most people don't realize. One of the biggest culprits behind this decline is not genetics, but lunch. That's right. Skipping lunch, eating fast food, or relying on a quick sandwich simply doesn't give your body the tools it needs to rebuild muscle, especially after 60. But there's hope. In Japan, where people live longer and stronger well into their 80s and 90s, lunch is more than just a meal. It's a quiet ritual of nourishment, deeply intentional and deeply healing. Today, I'll show you a Japanese-style lunch that doesn't require exotic ingredients or complicated steps, yet gently supports your muscle health every single day. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from, and what time is it for you right now? Please let me know in the comments below. I truly look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Understanding muscle loss after 60 and why lunch is the key. By the time we reach our 60s, our bodies begin to change in ways that often go unnoticed until something happens. A stumble, a fall, or simply the quiet realization that our arms feel weaker when we reach for something, or our legs tire more quickly on the stairs. This is not just aging. It's something called anabolic resistance, a natural process where the body becomes less responsive to protein, making it harder to build or maintain muscle mass. And while it might sound discouraging, here's something most people don't realize. This process can be slowed, even reversed, with the right kind of meal, at the right time of day. That time is lunch. Yes, lunch. While most people think dinner is the most important meal, recent research and long-standing traditions in Japan suggest otherwise. The human body is governed by a natural rhythm, our circadian clock. Around midday, our digestive system and muscles are most efficient at absorbing nutrients, especially protein. That's why lunch becomes the ideal opportunity to nourish muscles and rebuild strength. But in America, lunch is often rushed, skipped, or replaced with fast food. I've had many patients who eat just a few crackers, a sugary drink, or nothing at all, saving their appetite for dinner. Unfortunately, by evening, the body's ability to use protein for muscle repair has already diminished. Let me share a story. Dorothy, one of my patients, was 72 when I first met her. She'd been feeling increasingly tired, had lost her balance twice in 1 year, and was starting to doubt whether she could continue living independently. We made one change: a complete, balanced lunch inspired by Japanese traditions. Within 3 months, her energy returned, her strength improved, and perhaps most importantly, her confidence came back. Muscle loss after 60 isn't just about growing older. It's about what, how, and when we eat. In Japan, older adults treat lunch as a healing pause in the day, never rushed, always intentional. Warm soups, fermented foods, gentle proteins, and colorful vegetables come together not just to fill the stomach, but to support the entire body. The Japanese philosophy of eating, shokuiku. In Japan, there's a word that carries far more meaning than just nutrition. That word is shokuiku, a concept that blends food, education, mindfulness, and the deep connection between what we eat and how we live. Shokuiku teaches that food is not just fuel. It's a way to care for your body, your mind, and even your relationships. And for older adults, especially after 60, this philosophy becomes a quiet but powerful tool for preserving strength, clarity, and joy. Unlike many Western approaches to eating, which often focus on calories, restrictions, or supplements, Shokwiku encourages us to ask different questions. Not, how much protein does this have? But how does this food support my body's natural rhythm? Not, what should I avoid? But what will help me feel balanced, satisfied, and whole? This mindset shift can be life-changing. In Japanese households, even a simple lunch is treated with care. The meal is balanced not only in nutrients, but also in color, texture, temperature, and taste. A warm bowl of miso soup, a small serving of grilled fish, some steamed vegetables, gently seasoned, a few bites of fermented foods like natto or pickles, a portion of rice, not too much, not too little. Each item has a role, each bite has a purpose, but beyond the ingredients, it's how the meal is experienced that matters most. Meals are not rushed. People often eat while sitting on the floor, close to the earth, in a posture that supports digestion. Eating is quiet, mindful, and shared, even if only with oneself. This kind of intentional eating does more than nourish the body. It sends signals to your brain and your gut that it is safe, it is time to rest, and it is time to rebuild. For muscle health, this is critical, because when the nervous system is calm, digestion improves. And when digestion improves, the body can better absorb the nutrients it needs to maintain muscle mass, stabilize energy, and reduce inflammation. Shokwiku reminds us that food is a relationship, a daily chance to listen to what your body truly needs, not out of fear, but out of respect. A story from Okinawa, a traditional lunch and its quiet powers. In the southern islands of Okinawa, Japan, the rhythm of life flows gently, like the breeze that rolls in from the sea each morning. There are no loud highways here, no towering buildings, just quiet roads lined with hibiscus flowers and homes built low to the earth, simple, warm, and full of life. It's here, in a small coastal village, that Mrs. Higa lives. She is 85 years old, though you wouldn't guess it by the way she moves. Her steps are steady, her voice is strong, and her smile, it reaches all the way to her eyes. I met her one warm afternoon, just past noon. She had just returned from the market, her woven basket filled with treasures from the sea and land, purple sweet potatoes, leafy greens, a piece of mackerel still glistening with ocean salt. She greeted me with a soft bow and invited me to stay for lunch. Her home smelled faintly of cedar and miso. Paper screens filtered the sunlight, casting soft shadows on the tatami floor. She moved without hurry, her hands knowing exactly what to do. As she prepared the meal, she spoke softly about her late husband, her grandchildren, and how every ingredient she cooked reminded her of something. A season, a memory, a feeling. This tofu, she said, holding it gently in her palm, my mother used to make it herself when I was a little girl. We had to press it by hand. The rice was cooked in a clay pot, its scent earthy and warm. The miso soup simmered gently, with slices of daikon radish dancing in the broth. She grilled the fish over a tiny flame, skin side down until it crackled. On the side, she served spinach tossed in sesame, a spoonful of natto, some pickled vegetables she had made days before, and a small cup of green tea. Lunch was served on a simple wooden tray. No silverware, just chopsticks and a quiet reverence. Before eating, she placed her hands together and whispered, Itadakimasu. I asked what that meant. She smiled. It means I receive this meal with gratitude, not just for the food, but for everything that allowed it to be here. She didn't rush. She paused between bites. She smiled often, laughed at a small memory that crossed her mind, and said eating like this made her feel connected to herself, to her ancestors, to the land. After lunch, she stood up slowly and walked out to her garden. With bare hands, she pulled weeds, watered her herbs, and showed me the tiny eggplants she was growing for next week's curry. Her energy was calm but strong. She didn't need a gym. Her lunch was her strength training, day after day. The 6 key ingredients in a Japanese lunch that rebuilds muscle. When I think back to Mrs. Higa's lunch that day, it wasn't just the beauty of the meal that struck me. It was how intentional each part of it was. Every ingredient played a role. Every flavor had a function. It was food, yes, but it was also medicine. Gentle, quiet, and profoundly effective. Let's walk through each of those components, not as a checklist, but as building blocks for strength after 60. The first was grilled fish, mackerel in her case. Rich in omega-3 fats and high-quality protein, this wasn't just delicious, it was deeply restorative. Unlike heavily processed meats, fish provides clean protein that the aging body can use without strain. Omega-3s have also been shown to help prevent muscle breakdown and reduce inflammation, especially important in older adults who often face silent joint pain or stiffness. Next came the miso soup, a warm bowl filled with tofu, seaweed, and daikon radish. Miso, a fermented soybean paste, contains beneficial bacteria that support gut health. Why does that matter for muscles? Because your gut is where nutrients are absorbed. A strong gut equals better digestion, better absorption, and better use of protein. Tofu itself is a gentle plant-based protein, easy to digest and soothing to the system. Then there was natto, perhaps the most surprising ingredient for Western palates. Sticky, pungent, and undeniably unique, natto is a fermented soybean dish packed with vitamin K2, which plays a critical role in keeping both bones and muscles strong. Studies have linked K2 to better calcium utilization, reducing the risk of fractures. And again, fermentation means it supports the gut. On the side sat a small pile of steamed greens, lightly dressed with sesame. In Mrs. Higa's case, it was komatsuna, a Japanese mustard spinach, but any soft green like spinach or bok choy will do. Leafy greens provide folate, magnesium, and antioxidants, all nutrients that help calm inflammation and keep the nervous system balanced. They're not flashy, but they're deeply grounding. Alongside that was a small serving of wakame seaweed, tender and briny, added to her soup. Seaweed is a quiet powerhouse, rich in iodine, calcium, and magnesium. These minerals support thyroid health, bone density, and muscle contraction, especially helpful if you often feel fatigue or cramps. And then, of course, there was brown rice, simple, earthy, and perfectly portioned. Unlike refined white rice, brown rice offers steady energy, fiber, and important B vitamins. It supports blood sugar balance and gives your body the carbohydrates it needs to use protein properly. Without enough energy, even the best protein can't do its job. What makes these 6 ingredients so powerful is not just their individual benefits, it's how they work together. Protein to rebuild, ferments to absorb, greens and grains to support balance and steady strength. Most importantly, they are easy on the body. No processed powders, No harsh supplements, just whole foods that speak the language of your cells. You don't have to prepare all 6 every day. Even starting with 2 or 3 can make a noticeable difference. Many of my patients begin by simply swapping their usual sandwich for grilled fish and miso soup, and within weeks, they feel more grounded, more energized, and more capable. The 3 lunchtime mistakes that quietly weaken muscle. After 60, you could have the best intentions. You might even be eating what seems like a healthy meal, but if certain small habits slip in unnoticed, they can slowly chip away at your muscle strength, especially after 60. I've seen it time and time again, even in people who genuinely care about their health. Let me walk you through 3 common lunchtime patterns I've seen in my patients over the years, patterns that seem harmless on the surface, but often explain why energy is low, balance is poor, and strength slowly fades. The first mistake? Eating quickly or not eating at all. In many American households, lunch is an afterthought. It's eaten in the car, standing by the kitchen counter, or skipped entirely in favor of a snack or late dinner. But the aging body doesn't work like it did at 25. Skipping meals or rushing through them keeps the nervous system in a state of stress. And in that state, digestion slows, nutrient absorption weakens, and protein, even when consumed later, can't be used effectively. Your body needs time and calm to digest. It needs the signal that now is the moment to rest, to repair. When lunch is skipped, muscles wait and weaken. The second mistake? Relying on fast food or convenience meals. A quick sandwich, a frozen entree, or even a meal replacement shake might seem efficient. But many of these options are high in salt, sugar, or poor quality fats, and low in meaningful protein and healing nutrients. They're designed for speed, not strength. Take a typical fast food lunch: a burger, fries, and soda. It may be high in calories, but it's low in usable protein and virtually empty of the fermented foods, minerals, and plant-based support that aging muscles need to recover. Compare that to a bowl of miso soup, grilled salmon, and greens. One fills your stomach, the other builds your body. And the third mistake? Eating alone, without presence or connection. This one often surprises people, but in Japanese culture, meals are not just about the food, they're about the moment. Eating while watching TV, scrolling your phone, or checking emails keeps the body in a distracted, sympathetic state. That means fewer digestive enzymes, less nutrient absorption, and more tension held in the gut. Even if you live alone, try eating like Mrs. Higa, with a tray, in a calm space, seated upright, hands together before your first bite. That quiet ritual sends a signal to your whole system. You are safe, you are cared for, and it's time to heal. So often, it's not just what we eat, but how we eat that determines whether our food becomes strength or stress. A simple, Japanese-inspired lunch you can make in the US. You don't have to live in Okinawa or speak Japanese to experience the healing power of a traditional Japanese lunch. In fact, many of the core ingredients can be found at your local grocery store or ordered online. The magic isn't in the exotic, it's in the intention. Let's imagine this together. It's noon. You're at home, the sun is coming through the window, and you decide to make yourself a small tray of food. Not fancy, not overwhelming, but complete, warm, and healing. Start with grilled salmon or mackerel, fish that's widely available in most supermarkets. If grilling feels like too much, you can bake or pan-sear it with a little olive oil and sea salt. This will be your main protein source. It doesn't have to be big, just enough to satisfy and nourish. Next, add a bowl of instant miso soup. Yes, instant. There are many quality brands available now, often in single-serve packets. Just add hot water. You can upgrade it by tossing in soft tofu cubes or dried seaweed, wakame, both of which are shelf-stable and easy to keep on hand. For greens, use what's local and easy: baby spinach, kale, or bok choy. A quick steam or light saute with sesame oil brings out their flavor and makes them easier to digest. Sprinkle with toasted sesame seeds or a light soy dressing if you like. Rice is optional but comforting. Brown rice or even a small portion of white rice can be made in batches and stored in the fridge. If rice feels heavy, try quinoa or millet, grains that hold a similar texture and support slow energy release. Now, for something fermented: kimchi, sauerkraut, or if you can find it, natto. Even a spoonful added to your plate helps support gut health and improve nutrient absorption. If natto isn't your taste, don't worry. Other fermented veggies offer similar benefits. Finally, sit down. No phone, no TV. Just you, your tray, and maybe a window nearby. Put your hands together and whisper, "I receive this meal with gratitude." That small gesture shifts your whole nervous system. It tells your body, this moment matters. I've worked with many older patients who thought they couldn't cook, but when we simplified it, one fish fillet, one bowl of soup, one handful of greens, they began to enjoy lunch again. Not as a chore, but as care. If you're caring for an aging parent or loved one, preparing this type of meal even once or twice a week can make a visible difference in their energy, posture, and even mood. Lunchtime habits that help muscles rebuild every day. Even the most nourishing meal can lose its power if it's eaten at the wrong time, in the wrong way. But when you create the right conditions, just a few simple shifts, your lunch can become a quiet engine of healing that works every single day. Let's begin with timing. For most people over 60, the best window for lunch is between 11:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. This is when the digestive system is naturally most active and when your muscles are most ready to receive nutrients. Eating earlier gives your body more time during the day to use what you've given it, to restore, repair, and rebuild. Then there's posture. In Japan, older adults often eat sitting upright on a floor mat or cushion. You don't need to sit cross-legged, but simply eating in an upright, relaxed position can improve digestion. Avoid eating while slouched on the couch or lying in bed. A straight spine sends a message to your body: I'm present, I'm ready to receive. Next, consider pace. It's easy to rush, especially if you're eating alone. But your digestive system needs time to signal fullness, to release enzymes, to process what you're taking in. Try to give yourself at least 20 minutes to eat. Put your fork or chopsticks down between bites. Chew gently. Let the flavors guide you back into your body. Another powerful, but often forgotten habit: silence. Try eating one meal a day. Just one. Without screens, without noise, without multitasking. You don't have to be completely still, but allow a bit of quiet. Even 5 minutes of calm while eating can shift your body into a parasympathetic state, where healing happens. And finally, make lunch a ritual, not a task. Lay out your tray. Warm your tea. Fold your hands before and after the meal. Whisper thank you to the food, to the body, to the moment. Over time, these little habits compound. They create a body that digests better, absorbs more, and wastes less. A body that feels safe, stable, and strong. If you remember only one thing from today, let it be this: your body is still listening. Even after 60, even after years of feeling tired or weak, it still wants to heal. It still wants to be strong. And the path doesn't have to be harsh. It doesn't require supplements or intense exercise. It can begin with a quiet lunch, a bowl of warm soup, a piece of grilled fish, a moment of stillness. In Japan, this isn't seen as special. It's simply part of daily life. But for many of us, it may be the beginning of a new chapter. So tomorrow, make yourself a simple tray. Eat with both hands free. Turn off the noise. Sit upright. Chew slowly. And whisper, "I receive this meal with gratitude." Because every bite can be a step back towards strength. Every meal, a reminder that healing is always possible. If this message touched you, I invite you to share it with a loved one, a neighbor, or someone who's forgotten their own strength. And be sure to subscribe, because next time, we'll explore the Japanese breakfast that helps reduce nighttime trips to the bathroom and promotes deep, healing sleep.